Hi guys, reporting from Canada. Just wanted to let you guys in on a little secret. So, lots of people don't understand what the whole Freedom Convoy was about. And a lot of people have misconceptions on what living in Canada is like. So, you hear we have Timmy's, Canadian staple. Everybody Canadian loves Timmy's. Newsflash, Timmy's is now owned by a U.S. company. So that's when you started to see Tim Hortons cereal come out, Tim Hortons granola bars come out. It's because it's not owned by Canada anymore, or a Canadian company. Free healthcare. We don't have free healthcare. Everything's not 100% free. Everybody pays taxes. We now have this new healthcare payment that we pay on our taxes every year, and it is based on how much you make. So even somebody on welfare or a low-paying job, the minimum is like $500, I think, or $250 for the year. But the more you make, the more you pay. So it's not free. There's a lot of services at the doctors that aren't free as well. Like if you need vaccinations because you're going on a trip, you got to pay for it. Kids' vaccinations are, but once you start getting into some adult ones, they're not. Drugs aren't free in Canada. You have to work for an employment that gives you a health plan that you usually have to pay into every month or every paycheck. So, for an example, a family of 4 to have drug, like prescriptions covered, and dental, and your eyeglasses, massage therapy, chiropractic, all of that is paid for mostly out of your employment insurance that you pay into. Average people, families here, say a family of 4 probably pays $300 a month towards that. If you're on a government subsidy, your like welfare, which is like in the US, I guess, almost like the food stamps. You still have a deductible you have to pay for your prescriptions. And again, a lot of things aren't covered. So you still have to pay out of pocket. The government has now, I think, got up to kids of the years of 18 gets a certain amount of dental care per year, but if your parents can't work, there's a limit on what the free dental care is. Food banks here are crazy. So many Canadians are using food banks these days. A lot of communities are doing food share programs. There's farmers that do good food boxes for fresh produce, because right now in Canada it costs $10 a bag of potatoes. Same for about apples. You're looking at about $8 for a bag of oranges. But a bag of cookies is cheaper, right? What else can I tell you about Canada? Our taxes are crazy. We get taxed on everything. So you buy anything at the store, you're paying GST, which was supposed to only be a temporary measure. It wasn't supposed to be forever. This whole Trudeau free tax bullshit for 6 weeks or whatever the hell it was makes absolutely no difference to any of our lives, really. When our food is so costly. Our healthcare system sucks. It's totally like in shambles since COVID. So the convoy was based around people just having their own choice. Some people don't understand that thousands upon thousands of healthcare workers lost their jobs because they did not want to get the COVID shot. Thousands of people died here of COVID alone. Like, we weren't able to go in and see a family member while they were alive in the hospital. But they passed away, and guess what? We were allowed to go to the hospital and say our goodbyes after he was gone. So the restrictions they put on that were stupid. I don't understand why we couldn't have seen him the day before he passed, but we were allowed to see him in his room after. So we couldn't go into the hospital to visit, but we could go into the hospital to say goodbyes after he passed on the same floor he passed on. We just had crazy stuff here. Nobody knows what really is going on in Canada. Because our lovely Trudeau government put on a news ban. So all the news that gets put out to the world is funded by the federal government and approved. So our news does not go out looking for news. Like, our news reporters don't go to war zones to report the news, or protests in other countries to give us what's really going on in the world. All of that's coming from outside sources of Canada because of our news ban. I couldn't even share on Facebook a post about the flooding that was going on in North Carolina, or about the hurricanes that were going on. Anytime we try to share any of that stuff with our fellow Canadians, it just gets banned and removed. That's kind of how it works. So we have no voice to the outside world at all whatsoever. All of our little news reporting agencies or little town papers or things like that, like, they have been totally banned. And there are a few small news reporting communities that are still putting some news out there, like Druthers News. You can watch some of the convoy representatives are still putting out news on what's going on. And it's just crazy that we live in this communist kind of world of Canada, the home of the free. We're not free. We can't speak our own voices. I will be surprised if this doesn't get removed, because I'm talking about what's really going on in Canada, and the government doesn't want that out there. So we are not the land of the free, and clearly we've definitely had government overreach, with seizing of bank accounts and vehicles and stuff like that still going on. And the thing is that the convoy I was there, it was peaceful, it was great, it was like a huge Canadian love, let's finally get together and fight off this horrible Castro's son Trudeau shit. And it brought a lot of Canadians together. It brought a lot of families back together, friends back together. It was just absolutely beautiful. But then we have this shootings and fighting and all this stuff going on around the Muslim communities and stuff like that, and Trudeau does nothing. So it's just whatever makes him look better, and I'm so glad he's gone. Peace out, Trudeau. Bye.